Hi guys, my name is Irene. I am a Twitch streamer under the channel name of Bubblycorn. It's been about 13 months since I've started streaming and about half a year since my last Twitch informational video where I walk through all of the equipment that I use to stream on a MacBook. So I thought this would be a perfect time to provide an update video, especially considering the fact that 3 or so months ago, the latest updated version of the MacBook Pros have come out with the M1 chip Pro and the M1 chip Max. So talking to you guys about my thought process of whether to upgrade my equipment or not. Today, I'd like to talk about two topics. The first topic is going to be talking about whether I will be upgrading to the latest and greatest MacBook Pro, and if so, why? If not, why? The second topic is talking about any updates that I have had to my equipment since it has been half a year. In summary, I have had very little to no updates to my equipment. The only update I've had was due to a user accident. Let's get on with our first topic. Am I going to be upgrading to the new M1 chip MacBook Pro laptops? The answer is no. And if I told that to the Irene of 3 months ago when those MacBooks were coming out, or Irene of even a week ago, or quite honestly, Irene of yesterday, because I didn't come to this decision until preparing for this video, kind of really putting myself through the thought process of, is this worth it? My decision was very different. I was watching a bunch of YouTube review videos on this new M1 chip MacBooks, and they sounded like best technology out there at the moment that really is the refined version of the MacBook that I have right now. And it almost made me feel like I purchased an infant version, a version that's not fully developed. It's kind of like the early gen mistake or the getting it too early mistake. That's how I initially felt. I felt like, man, I really should have just waited it out. But after going through a little more thought of, hey, what am I really lacking with my current laptop? And what benefit can I get from the upgraded laptop? And is that benefit worth the extra cha-ching? I've made my decision. So yeah, I went through this decision-making process and I want to share it with you. So my current PC that did I say PC? Oops, not PC. You guys are like, Irene, you changed the PC, congratulations. No, I'm still with my MacBook. I have 3 primary limitations with my current MacBook that I somewhat covered on my equipment walkthrough video, but I'll go into a little more detail now since it's been a whole year, over a year since I've started streaming. I can really say that in a whole year of streaming and going through different variety content, I've really only ran into 3 major issues. Number 1 is playing PC games. You cannot stream your PC game and stream at the same time on this MacBook. I learned the hard way. I got a sponsorship from a PC mobile game and I found out live that your gameplay will lag significantly. I think you can adjust the preference of the CPU and GPU usage on your computer so that it kind of, balances that out better. But adjusting that balance is a little bit harder on a MacBook versus a PC. It's very easy to drag and adjust that. On a MacBook, it's well integrated, it's smart, it tries to optimize things, but at the same time, customizing how the CPU, GPU is used is a little more cumbersome on a MacBook. But yeah, so that I found out the hard way. For all 3 of these, I will tell you that there are workarounds for it after I talk through each of my issues. Second is that showing YouTube videos even while you are streaming is going to run into issues. There's a lag. And this I ran into an issue because I wanted to do video submissions. I actually had a stream when I opened up a whole Discord channel asking people to submit videos that they'd like for me to react to. And it was a horrible experience for my viewers because there was such a lag in viewing the YouTube videos. And I was like, oh no, this is so bad. We got through those 2 hours, but I haven't been able to finish up those videos. Third item is that what was the third item? What was the third item? Oh, I totally remember the third item. The third issue is not to do with streaming, but it is to do with video editing. If I started to do a little more complex video editing, or not even complex, but video editing that had a lot more raw footage. For example, if I had vlogs where I wanted to incorporate multiple live stream components from it, such as when I went to New York, I live streamed 3 times, so I brought in all 3 videos. Those kind of issues where I'm having a lot of raw footage and I'm editing those down, or I'm accelerating those and I'm having a lot of layers, those are times where I would really run into hair pulling out frustration, running into lags with trying to edit those items. But as I said, with all 3 of these items, I have found workarounds for it. For the first 2, it's basically having a secondary PC. So I was able to plug in my secondary computer with my game capture card, which is why it's so worth getting a good game capture card that is fully compatible with your MacBook. The HD60S Plus is seriously very, very extremely compatible with the MacBook. I don't know why I had to say very, very extremely, because it's just a yes or no. It is compatible with your MacBook with pretty much all devices. Now I've tested out PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, a PC. It doesn't have to even be with another Mac. Any device, it flows through very easily, including audio. I've never had audio issues with it either. For the third item of YouTube videos, I found workarounds where I don't have to try to edit every single large raw data in one project or one library. I can split it up. I can edit portions that are going to be a chunk of a video and import it into my main video so that it's not such a large file. So I found workarounds for it. Are they annoying? Yes. Do they happen frequently or extremely frequently on the content that I create? Not super. And so is it worth the $1,000? No. To me, those workarounds work fine. And so having the added convenience of not running into those 3 issues is not worth the additional $1,000. And this, I say the $1,000 because I'm assuming that moving to a M1Pro MacBook base model plus a slight update to get the 10-core CPU would do the trick. But honestly, if you're gonna play a game, you might need even more powerful versions of that, which would mean that it's not just a $1,000 upgrade. It's probably gonna be $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, depending on what kind of game you're gonna play. So in summary, no, that was not worth it for me. My current MacBook is working great for me, and so I plan to use it. In conclusion, what are my recommendations in terms of who should get the upgraded 14-inch MacBook versus a 13-inch MacBook Pro? Who would probably do great with a 13-inch MacBook? I think if you're a variety streamer or a kind of camera-focused streamer, for example, if you're doing cooking or crafting or something where the majority of the screen time is you on camera, if you're a gamer and you're a console gamer where you stream PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and there's external input for the game, or you're a PC gamer and you have a second dual PC setup, I think actually some people, that is the scenario. You have a MacBook and you have a PC for different purposes and you just like to have both. Or you have an additional PC laying around, you don't use it all the time, but you can use it as your secondary computer to play, simple games, show YouTube videos on your stream. If you're an artist and you do digital art, but you do that off screen, so for example, if you're gonna draw, but you can draw on your iPad and that's plugging into your computer, that could work. If you're doing that, running Photoshop and Illustrator and all these other things at the same time, probably not. As you can see, a lot of different content will work on this just regular M1 chip 13-inch MacBook Pro. So the flip side, who should get the M1 Pro or M1 Max MacBook Pro for streaming? Short answer is no one. No, I'm not hating on these MacBooks. It's just, I struggle to understand who that just streams would want to make this purchase. It just doesn't make sense that you're doing it just for streaming. If you're getting this because you're PC game intensive, it'll be more like a $3,000 computer. You could get a dual PC setup for that and get a quality stream. If you want to stream and play a PC game at the same time on your computer, or you show a lot of YouTube videos on your streams and that's really your primary content, or you're a content creator where you do a lot of more complex video editing, if those scenarios apply and you got the money to spend on this, then go for it. But really, I just can't think of many scenarios where you would specifically purchase this computer, this MacBook, to stream. I think the price point can't justify streaming with a MacBook anymore. I feel like now I just like the Apple sticker, which is why I'm going with it if I get it. So yeah, watch me say this and then get an upgrade 6 months from now and eat my word. Hopefully I don't. But yeah, I mean, I feel like talking through this and actually like verbalizing this with you guys on this video has helped solidify for me that I'm making the correct decision not to upgrade my MacBook. Thoughts may change, especially I think if I plan to do more complex video editing or I really want to watch more YouTube videos on here. But really, I think the workarounds that I mentioned earlier totally work. And if I want to do more PC gaming and likewise, I think I would just get a secondary laptop rather than, you know, getting a crazy machine. And now I'm at peace because I've made my decision. And this is the thought that's been going through my head for the last 3 months, whether to upgrade or not. And actually, I'd love to hear your thoughts too. If you're a Mac user or not a Mac user and you're going through the same thought yourself or the hypothetical, let me know what you would decide to do. I'm very curious. Okay, and equipment update is very simple. I have pretty much kept all of the same equipment that I have shared in my last walkthrough video of all the equipment you need in order to stream, which is a great sign because that means that everything's been working great and it's kind of time-told proof. It's kind of proving to you that I was able to stream for a full year without having issues with the setup that I shared with you in the last one. So I'm happy to say that. And I'm also happy to say that that equipment setup that I showed survived a longer stream too. For my 1-year anniversary stream where I did 12-hour stream to celebrate my 12 months on Twitch, went fine. And I was able to go through the full 12 hours of stream. And I'm especially happy to say that on my last video, I did say, oh, you know, get backups of this dongle because I fried my last one. I did realize that was my fault. The second one I've ran into no issues. It's doing fine. And really the only reason I fried my last one was because I forgot to put in the power cord and my computer was trying to source power to all of my other devices that were plugged into this. So as long as you don't run into user errors where you're forgetting to plug in your power cord, this will serve you fine, even for 12 hours. It does heat up, so you don't want this to be sitting on a fluffy insulated or fluffy, you know, heat circulating item. Basically, don't put it on a cushion. Put it on a hard surface, then it'll be fine. Speaking of power, that's how I ended up having to change my equipment. The only equipment that I changed is, very sadly, my most expensive equipment, which is my camera. Apparently December is not the month of cameras for me. December 2020. December 2021, camera fried. I had the a6400, Sony a6400. It worked great. What did I do? Well, I accidentally plugged in the wrong power adapter. So now you can see I color coded it. I have pink for the camera and I have green for my light. I plugged in my ring light plug into my camera plug and it zapped and fried my camera. It basically sent a bomb to my camera and exploded my camera. Yeah, so lesson learned, cameras are expensive and label your wires, color code your wires. I really thought that that was overkill. Like, why do people label their wires color code? But that was a very important lesson learned. If you do it only 100 times, you're bound to mess up at least once because you're human. Actually, very recently, this saved me because I was kind of sleep deprived when preparing for one of my streams and I was like, pink, green. No, don't do that. So yeah, this is the only upgrade I have to my equipment. I got the Sony a6000. This camera, the con is that this flip out, I don't know why they made it this way, but it only flips out up to here. So if I turn it from the front and I want to see myself on the screen, that's not possible because it only flips up halfway. At first that really bothered me, but I realized it's fine for streaming purposes because usually I'm monitoring myself through my computer screen. I'm rarely looking at this screen because it's too small, and I don't really use this for my YouTube content creation. So it's fine. This is the $600 camera. It'll do. And actually it ended up working out better than my 6400, even though that's a much more expensive camera, because it wasn't doing that 4K crop thing that I talked about in my equipment walkthrough video. And so I'm able to get wider angles with this and the same lens and a cheaper camera, and it works great. And for some reason, I don't know why, but the autofocus works even better. It's strange. Yeah, this camera's been working great for streaming. Luckily, I used the same dummy battery and everything, so I didn't have to purchase a new version of that. But yeah, that's really the only upgrade I had for my equipment. So I'm happy to say that you can use my last video, how to stream with a MacBook equipment full walkthrough. That is still valid and I still stand by it. It's been doing great for me on stream, and I hope that it's been helpful for you. I do plan to have a follow-up video for this where I will be talking about my scenes and how to set those up, because I said I would have a software video in my last video and I never got to it. This time I fully intend to have that. So keep an eye out on the second video where I will be talking through my scenes, and also in comments I received requests physically show how everything's plugged in, what my setup looks like. Initially didn't show that because it's not a pretty scene, because I'm moving everywhere around and I'm only setting this up for my specific stream and closing tent. So I'm kind of like a traveling circus. In any case, I'll show that to you in my next video. I'm excited to show that to you. So keep an eye out for that. And I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, wherever you are in this world. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.